Why do the Beatles songs still sound great more than 60 years later? Most people think it's because they wrote amazing catchy melodies. Others think it was simply because they were just great musical geniuses. And other people believe that it was just Lennon and McCartney were the single reason they were so successful. But after studying hundreds of successful songs, I actually think the reason is far simpler than you may actually believe. And it's overlooked a lot of the time by a lot of songwriters. And once you understand what made the Beatles songs so successful, you can unlock this into your songwriting and write songs that truly transform listeners. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down what made the Beatles songs so successful so that you can implement those techniques into your songs. Hey, Danny here, founder of Songwriters International. If you are new here, please consider subscribing for more videos just like this. So let's jump in. So if I asked you, what makes a Beatles song so successful? And as I mentioned before, many people may say the melodies, the structures, the production, the McCartney-Lennon duo. And of course, all of those things are a massive contributing factor to the success of a Beatles song. I actually don't think those are the biggest reasons. Their true songwriting superpower was something far simpler, and they did it better than anyone else. So let's take a look at some real examples, and then I'm going to break down exactly what's going on. So let's take a look at that famous song, Eleanor Rigby. Now, it isn't about flying around, it isn't about saving the world. It's about loneliness. But instead of just saying, I'm lonely, like most songwriters would, we actually meet this person called Eleanor. We see Father Mackenzie. We see the rice in the church. What we are actually seeing, more importantly, is a story that unfolds. And that's why it sticks with us as the listener. The second example here is that famous song, Yesterday. The lyrics aren't trying to impress anyone, but what this is very conversational. Almost like somebody is sat there thinking out loud, speaking these words. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now that is so simple. Just a genuine human conversation. Now we've got a little bit of a contrast between the two, and we're going to break this down in just a moment. This is where most songwriters actually go wrong. They think better vocabulary, they think more poetic lyrics, even more clever metaphors. And in a lot of cases, the Beatles actually did the opposite of that. They made complicated emotions, a lot of the time, just sound human and relatable, but they also weave them into stories. And writing simpler is actually a lot harder than you may actually think. Don't write to impress. Write to connect. That was something one of my mentors told me when I first started writing at age 14. You want to make it easy for your listener to understand the emotion that you're trying to get across. Sometimes that's simplicity, sometimes you do that through storytelling, sometimes you do it through vivid imagery. And in the case of the Beatles, they simply chose whatever actually suited the song and delivered the story the best way that it could. But what you'll find is they stuck to common topics. And this is what we call universal messaging. When we want a song that actually connects with most people around the world, we want to write about the most common topics that pretty much everyone has experienced. And then what we do is we just change the angle of how we deliver that. So for example, if we are writing about loneliness, we could just say, I'm lonely, I'm lost. Now that's great, everyone can relate to it. But if we look at the instance of Eleanor Rigby, they don't stop there. They could just say that, but they go further and they go, what does loneliness actually look like? How does it show up for somebody? And then they use this individual of Eleanor Rigby. Now, if you were writing a song about loneliness, it could be that you've got one chair at the kitchen table. You could say it's about a birthday card that nobody opened. Or it could be walking home without speaking. Now, straight away, what happens is you're not saying, I'm lonely, I'm on my own. You're actually painting the picture that allows the listener to actually see it without you saying it. And that's where you stop telling the listener, you start showing the listener. And this is one of the biggest lessons I've learned from great songwriters and great songs. People don't remember emotions. They remember the moments of how you actually told that emotion. And that's why the Beatles songs still connect many, many years later. And on the flip side of that, it's the moments where you have songs like Yesterday, where you go, what am I trying to say? I want to say, yesterday, all of my troubles were so far away, but now they're on top of me. Okay, sometimes we just have to deliver it in the simplest form. And that's the balance and the beauty of songwriting, is that you should have the mix between the two. Now, how do you decide which avenue to actually take? That's dependent on the song that you're writing and what the song actually wants from you. But knowing this when you enter a songwriting process, that you're either going to take one of two avenues will allow you to actually choose a path that's going to deliver the greatest lyric for the track. Now let's do this together. So for example, take a lyric that you've written, take one emotional word. Now that could be happy, it could be sad, it could be lonely, it could be broken. Now I want you to ask yourself, what would a camera see? Not the emotion, but what would someone look like if they were happy? Or what would a setting look like if someone was sad? Or how would someone be talking if they were broken? What would their expressions be like? The camera is going to capture the moment. You're going to deliver what is visual and what is visible on that camera. You want to replace the emotion with a moment, and you'll be amazed how much stronger your lyrics actually become. Let's put an example together of someone who is lonely, again in the same way of Eleanor Rigby, but we're going to switch it up for our own song. So rather than saying I'm lonely, I'm on my own, we can paint that picture. I can hear the room talking to me. So we set the scene, but there's only 4 walls and 1 chair. That straight away says there's no one else in the room. Then we can carry on to unpack that lyric, and we can go further. I made a coffee for 2, but then I remembered there's only 1. That could be another lyric which really hits at the loneliness or somebody being lost. And the Beatles weren't great because they often tried to be clever or incredibly unique. A lot of the times they just said what they wanted to say, or they took that concept and they put a different spin on it to deliver a better lyric. And going back to my earlier point, this is where we talk about angle writing. And what I mean by that is you could go 101 different ways with your song. So let's say you're writing about being happy. Now, there's so many topics and angles of which you could write that song about. So you could be happy that you're in a relationship. That could be angle 1. It could be happy because you found a job and now you're going to be moving away. That's what we would call angle 2. It's the same concept, but from a different angle, from a different perspective. Now you could multiply that again and again, and you could write from all different angles. That's where we take a very common topic like loneliness, like Eleanor Rigby, but then we write a unique angle and we set the scene with a specific person. That's what makes Beatles songs so successful and so great. Now the Beatles were fantastic, but there was another songwriter around a similar time that's still with us today, and that person is who we call Elton John. Fantastic songwriter, fantastic musician. Himself and Bernie Taupin, just like Lennon and McCartney, created a powerful force to write songs that we absolutely love and adore today. So I've put together a video specifically on his process and how he approached songwriting and how he created such great songs. So somewhere around here, you can see the Elton John songwriting process that I've put together to follow this video. So go ahead, somewhere around here, click that link, head on over there. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I would absolutely love to have you here with us at Songwriters International. So if you've enjoyed it, please do drop a comment below for any other videos that you'd like to see, and I will see you over on this video somewhere around here.